being awarded to two gentlemen who have accomplished greatness in their respective fields. The Global Leadership Award winner, Sri Rajesh Subramaniam of the 1981 batch, the Young Achiever Award winner, Sri Aravind Mani of the 2001 batch.
I take pride in inviting the dignitaries onto the stage. As your names are called, I request you to kindly take your seats on the dais. Sri Ranjit Rabindran, President, LOBA. Sri Sharat Krishnan, Secretary, LOBA. Father Roy Alex S.J., Principal, Loyola School, CBSE. Father P.T. Joseph S.J., Principal, Loyola School. The chief guest for today, Sri V.K. Matthews, Executive Chairman, IBS Software. Now the award winners. The Young Achiever Award 2023 winner, Sri Aravind Mani. The Global Leadership Award 2023 winner, Sri Rajesh Subramaniam.
We begin today's function by invoking the blessings of the Almighty. I request all of you to kindly rise for the silent prayer.
Thank you. Five batches of Loyola's youngest sons are celebrating the golden jubilee of their school leaving. Still the most enthusiastic and energetic amongst us Loyalites, we are thrilled to have them light the ceremonial lamp for today's function. I welcome the representatives of batches of 1968, 1969, 1970, 1971, and 1972 to come forward. Mr. Roy Lean of the 1968 batch, Mr. S. Rajiv of the 1969 batch, Dr. Krishna Kumar of the 1970 batch, Mr. M.K. Kuriakos of 1971 batch, and Mr. Ravi Pereira of 1972 batch.
Chetamar, please rise for the school song.
Thank you. Thank you, Chetamar. I welcome Sri Ram Mohan CV to render the welcome address.
Right. I wish you all a good evening and welcome you to the 5th edition of the Global Leadership Awards. For those of us in Trivandrum long enough to have gray hair like I do, the name IBS Software is a source of pride, is a source of admiration for all of us, as is its founder and currently chairman, Shri V.K. Matthews. Thank you, sir, and welcome. For those of us who are working, there are days when we are busy, and there are days when we are busy. But as a CEO, as Rajesh was talking about this morning, the pressures on their time, the amount of calls that they have on their time is something that we cannot really fathom. So to have two people who are CEOs come in specifically for this event is something great for all of us. Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you, Aravind. Over the last few years, LOBA has planned, executed a lot of schemes, a lot of programs. At first look, some of them may have sounded audacious, to put it mildly. Some of them may have been madcap to others. But we are proud to say that we have been able to execute most of the programs generally in the way that we have envisaged them. It's not that we are doing it alone. We have had the wholehearted support of the Jesuits, of the Loyola group of institutions. I welcome Father Joseph, Father Roy Alex to the evening, without whose support, especially in the last 3 years, none of what we have achieved would have been possible. Thank you, Father. 45 months ago, I was in the hot seat that Ranjit is sitting today. And I know the pressure, the amount of strain that we have to inculcate in this, in organizing and executing such a program, along with our work pressures. So this is why we have given our wholehearted support to Ranjit and to Sharath. Thank you and welcome. None of us Loyalites would be where we are today if it weren't for two groups of people: our parents and our teachers. By teachers, I mean the teaching staff and the non-teaching staff who have taught us, not just academically, who have taught us to be good human beings, to be Loyalites. For those staff members who have come here today, thank you and welcome to the program. Again, my fellow Loyalites, thank you and welcome. I have a small bone to pick with Rajesh on the lighter side. In today's morning speech, Rajesh had talked about his speech at school in 1979, if I remember right. Probably the worst speech that was seen during the assemblies. I beg to differ. I think I was in 8th standard, and it was my turn to speak in the assembly. I have a stammer, and it was pretty bad when I was 8th, 9th. Something that should have taken me 2 minutes took me 6 to 7 minutes, and I still am not sure if I completed it. I was nervous, I just lost myself, I was stuttering. But it is a testament to the Loyolite spirit. There was not a single snigger, there was not a single laugh in derision, and I was encouraged all along. That is the true spirit of the Loyolite. Thank you. With these few words, let the program begin. Welcome all of you.
Thank you, Ram. The chief guest for today's function is a luminary in his own right. Mr. V.K. Matthews, or VK as he is fondly called, is the founder and executive chairman of IBS Software, one of the leading travel technology companies in the world. After a stint of more than 15 years at the Emirates Group in Dubai, VK chose to return to India to become an entrepreneur. He was convinced about the immense possibility of technology in bringing about change. VK invested his entire life savings to foray into the uncharted territory of developing IT products when the flavor in India was IT services. IBS Software was born in 1997 in Technopark with 55 inexperienced engineers and 1 customer. Having completed its silver jubilee, IBS Software today serves over 200 clients worldwide, including some of the biggest airlines, busiest airports, leading cruise lines, top oil and gas companies, and renowned hotel groups in the world. Its business operations are spread across all geographies in the world, employing over 3,500 professionals from 30 nations.
In the aviation sector, the breadth of IBS's software solutions is unmatched. What started as a modest entrepreneurial venture 25 years ago in Trivandrum is today poised to be #1 IT solution provider to the global air transportation industry. VK is a thought leader in the global aviation industry and is a speaker at various international travel events and seminars. He was the Executive Council member of NASSCOM, chairman of CII Kerala, and current chairman of a group of technology companies. He has received several awards from the government, media, and trade associations for business excellence and leadership. VK holds a master's degree in aeronautical engineering from IIT Kanpur and has had executive management education from Harvard Business School, Boston, USA. It is our privilege to have you, sir, as the chief guest for GLA 2023, and it is with great honor that I invite you to address the gathering.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Rajesh Subramaniam, Father Joseph, Father Roy Alex, Ranjit, Sharad, and also the Young Achievers Award winner, forget your name, Aravind. I didn't have that in the list. So it's a great pleasure, privilege, and honor for me to be here today to participate in this session, particularly because we have Raj Subramaniam participating in this one. It's a matter of great pride and a sense of great inspiration for all of us should be that he is there with us today. For most of you, Raj Subramaniam is your fellow Loyolite. But for a company, for us, for me, and for the company that I represent, I don't know to what extent you know about FedEx. As the group CEO of FedEx, he controls a company whose revenue is 5 times the tax revenue of the state of Kerala. And his expenditure, of course, the state spends more, so his expenditure is roughly about 4.5 to 5 times of the expenditure of government of Kerala, annual expenditure. They have a fleet of aircraft. Altogether, if you aggregate that, it will be more than the entire fleet that we have in our skies in India. Close to 700, correct me if I'm wrong. And also, This is amazing. And they operate day and night through 5,000 hubs around the world in 220 countries. And if you take those countries alone, that would represent 99% of the world's GDP. So $94 billion in revenue and doing exceptionally well. And that reputed corporation is led by one of our guys from Trivandrum. Is a matter of immense, immense pride. And that's the reason why I said it was not easy for me to participate today. I had to fly 36 hours to get here to participate in this. I was in Vegas attending our global customer conference, and I left after the first day. In fact, it is a 3 days conference. I left after the first day so that I can participate in this function, and I'm happy that I did that. Ladies and gentlemen, as you might know, some of you might know, I do not hail from the city of Trivandrum. I'll hail from a small village called Kirakambalam in the district of Ernakulam. But Trivandrum is very special to me. And it has a very special place in my heart, because it is because of this city that I am standing here today as your chief guest addressing you. This is where I founded IBS Software 25 years back. Ladies and gentlemen, Trivandrum was different then. The world was different. There was no Google, there was no social media. iPhone did not even exist, and the mobile phones will not work in the US. And that is the time we actually started. From there, when I look back, and a lot of my friends and well-wishers advised me completely against setting up a shop in Kerala and also leaving a job that was an expat job and was a senior position at that point in time for my age and coming back here. But now when I look back after 25 years, ladies and gentlemen, in all earnestness, I can say that was the best decision that I have actually taken. The reason is simple. I was able to ring fence and create Trivandrum Mall. We were one of the earliest companies here. We were able to ring fence and create a differentiated culture, a culture where people are passionate about their work and they're deeply committed and they work with a sense of integrity for excellence and with total respect for their team members. And that's the reason why if we succeed, if we are successful, that one of the reasons is because we have that culture. So that much about that. And again, this is your meeting, the alumni meeting. Alumni and its associations and actions are very important for me for two reasons. One, it helps create great institutions. Second, it actually strengthens, instills, and reinforces relationships. Both are important. If you really look at some of the best institutions in the world, you will see that they are supported, contributed by its alumni, if you take any of the best institutions. And I would even go on to say, you will not be able to build great institutions without the involvement and support of alumni. And the second one is about relationships. And alumni actually fosters relationships. And I would like to talk about the longest ever conducted research in the world by Harvard University. And this was a research that started in 1938 with 724 people. And the research is all about to find what are the major triggers of happiness, what makes people happy. And in fact, out of the 724, 60 people are still alive. And that included John F. Kennedy as well. And their finding was, ladies and gentlemen, very interesting. Their finding was, there are many triggers, but the number one trigger and the sustaining trigger across generations is relationships. Your relationships with your parents, your relationship with your childhood friends, your relationship with your teachers, your relationship with the society. So people who had great relationship with parents lived happier than those who did not. People who maintained very good relationship with their school and college friends lived happier than those who did not. And the third one is even more interesting. People who socially drink lived happier than those who did not, this is a controversial statement, and my wife doesn't admit that. But anyway, so this is the beauty of Alumni Association and alumni engagement and interactions. Now, what I wanted to talk today, 3 topics I wanted to talk. I don't know whether we have time enough to speak about it. One, I wanted to talk about the world that we live today, the digital world that we live today. The second topic that I wanted to talk about to you was about the future of our country, India. And the third topic, the future, in that course, the future of our state, the vision for our state. And with that, I will conclude. I believe that we have got perhaps 3 categories. Our audience consists of 3 categories. People who are 1968 batch, people who are probably in the September sides of their life. These are, I call them as influencers. And then there are people who are still working. These are the leaders of today, and also the contributors of today. And the third one, the leaders of tomorrow and the creators of future. All of the youngsters who will be passing out or who have passed out but yet to get engaged in professional work. So if I really look at the technology, digital world that we live, ladies and gentlemen, the size of digital economy is about 20% of the globe's GDP, about $20 trillion. Just to give you some sort of a perspective, the travel industry that I represent, which involves travel, transportation, logistics, all of this, it dates back to the beginning of humanity, and it's only 10% or $10 trillion. And digital economy, it did not exist until 2007, or we never even spoke about it. iPhone did not come until 2007. Today it is 20%. And it's driven by our ability to collect massive amount of digital data, process, analyze, and use it. It evolves at breakneck speed. Remember when I remember this figure very accurately. In 1997, when we started IBS, the internet traffic was just about 10 megabits per second. Today, leave 5G and 6G, today that's about 250 terabytes per second. And also it creates a massive amount of wealth in rapid times, and again, getting concentrated in the hands of few countries, companies, and even worse, few individuals. Of course, it's a problem for the legislators and the lawmakers. It has created a very powerful value chain with firms specializing in collecting, processing, analyzing digital data to create a digital intelligence which you can commercialize, which you can monetize through commercial use. And this is the world that I'm talking about. We are living in that, all of us know, but we may not internalize or realize. And one of the biggest, most powerful driver of this economy is what we normally call as platformization. There are 2 types of platforms, transaction platforms, which will facilitate, which will connect millions of producers with billions of users. And again, the enormous amount of, and it facilitates bilateral and multilateral exchanges. And you also, and such as an Uber or Airbnb or Amazon, these are all transaction platforms. And you also have innovation platforms like Android and Linux as well as iOS. In fact, the enormous amount of data that comes out of the action and the interaction and the customer's behavior is actually making platformization, the platforms, very powerful. If you take today, 7 of the world's 8 largest companies by market cap, they employ platform-based business models. And ladies and gentlemen, typically all of you would have heard that the typical north-south divide when it comes to economics and the economy is not seen in the digital economy. It's actually between just 2 countries, China and the United States. Between them, they share 90% of the world's digital economy. And that's what it is. And so when you really look at the trade frictions that we see, it's nothing but a reflection of their quest and eagerness to achieve dominance in these frontier technologies. And that's what about the digital economy that we are actually living. And in fact, if you really look at, COVID has only accelerated these trends, and we can see four distinct things post-COVID, through COVID and post-COVID. One, an accelerated adoption of technology. Every company is attempting to become an IT company. I'm not saying a technology company, not an IT company in the traditional sense. In other words, having to achieve maximum digital dexterity and to make sure that you have the brilliant basics, all your operations are done and supported through technology. The second change you can see, which Rajesh, I'm sure, will agree with me, that on the one side, you are seeing unemployment rate coming down, but on the other side, you also see a number of open job vacancies going up. In other words, there is a significant mismatch between the talent that's available and the talent that we will be requiring. The future of jobs and the nature of jobs are changing. The third one, the operating models, the way in which we run our companies, the operating models are changing. The forecast is that 20 to 25% of all of the jobs across all occupations and among 2,000 tasks that they have analyzed, they will be from remote. The degree varies, but they will be from remote. And we have to learn to manage work without productivity loss in that hybrid manner. That's an important thing. And the fourth one, very important, the fourth one, organizations which are agile, organizations which had future-ready business models, and organizations which finally empower the customer, the fulfillment. Those companies did well, and those companies will do better. I'll tell you as an example. If you take our food delivery scheme, you take the case of the farmer who cultivates, the logistics provider, the wholesaler, the retailer, the food processing company, the restaurant, the chef, and finally, the Uber Eats or Amazon Fresh or Swiggy Zomato, the company which is actually empowering, fulfilling the requirement, engaging with the customer, captures 90% of the value. Everybody is pushed out as cost plus. This is another change, mega change that's actually coming to us. So much about the world that we are living, and we have to, this is the world, the business context has significantly changed. The way we produce, which is highly mechanized, automated manufacturing, 3D printing, the way we distribute, personalized and direct, the way we, transact, cashless, real time, the way we consume, which is on demand, when we want, where we want, and the way we operate. These are all, everything has actually changed. The business context has changed. In this new world, the reason why I wanted to speak this is leaders and decision makers have to reset their intuitions. The way in which we had worked in the past is not how leaders and business leaders will have to work going forward. The era might be looking very unsettling, but there are also great opportunities. That's what I wanted to talk about, the digital world that we are actually living in. I would like to now come a little bit closer to our country and the future of our country. And this, I just want to take 2 minutes to highlight this. In fact, in September, Bob Stanfels, the CEO of McKinsey, came to India. And also Jeff Bezos was here in India. And Bob Stanfels gave an interview in which he has said this: this is not the this is not the decade of India. This is the century for India. He made this statement. And since he is a consultant, he has to have good reasons why he's actually saying. He quoted 3 reasons. And I'll add perhaps one more. The 3 reasons he quoted. Number 1, India will be the talent, the powerhouse or the talent house for the rest of the world. By 2047, India at 100, 20% of the world's talent, and more so the employable talent, will be in India. Number 2, because of the geopolitical tensions that we see today between China and Russia and the rest of the world, the supply chains are remapping, and I'm sure Raj will definitely know about it. And the supply chains are getting remapped, and India can be a benefactor of that. And the third, and again very important, is for the size, complexity, and relatively still low economic output of India. India is highly digitized, and we should be able to benefit from, we should be able to leapfrog in our developmental pursuits because of that. High digitization. And the fourth one, which I would say, this is my own observation, Bob Steinfeld is not an Indian and he doesn't know India as much as we do. I think the enterprising mindset, the thriving mindset, the ever hopeful mindset of the Indians will definitely propel the growth of our country. So that's great. And that's the world that I think the new generation is going to live. Of course, we will have challenges, but still the future of India is very promising, and we will become the third largest economy by 2032. And EY has released during the World Economic Forum, you would have seen their own forecasts about the country of India. And now if I come to the state of Kerala, and with all of the early advancement this state has achieved, thanks to all the leaders, when the rest of the world rest of India was fighting for freedom, we were actually fighting for the social reformation in our state, and which helped us. And I will not say that we are able to take full advantage of those early benefits now, but nevertheless, if I look at the vision for our state and in the change situation, if we say simple vision, the finest place to live and work, and we can even shorten it, if it's the finest place to live, it's a good place to live, I'm sure it will be a great place to work too. If that's the case, what are the priorities? What should we actually aim at? And we should look at a clean Kerala with clean rivers and clean waters, backwaters, and waste properly managed. That's clean Kerala. And that will significantly improve the health of our citizens. And that will actually help a lot of people to come to Kerala and work from Kerala. And the second, safe Kerala. Safe to drink water, safe to eat food, safe to travel roads, and safety from disasters. If we can make this place, it's all about infrastructure. And the third one, digitally and economically enabled Kerala. If we can achieve these three, I think we will be able to get to that vision. And then, in a world where one can work from remote, in a world where flexibility is at the core of future of work, we should be able to get a lot of youngsters who are actually fleeing our state, or a lot of youngsters who would want to come to our state. We will be able to bring them to Kerala and say, work from Kerala. Work from anywhere, work from Kerala, God's own country. And that vision is very much possible if we can work together and make that happen. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to take any more time. Considering that we have three classes of people in this audience, the people in the September side of their life, people who are currently leading and contributing to the world, and the future leaders. I have three quotes before I conclude. For those who are at my age at the September side of life, this is what I would say. This is a famous one from Confucius. Ladies and gentlemen, we all have two lives. And the second one begins when we realize that there is only one life. I think some of us should remember that in our day-to-day running around. We will enjoy our life better. And for those who are leading our place, the state, the country, and big corporations like what Raj does, I think the message, or what actually influences me, or at least I'm very captivated, is something which Einstein said. The world we have created, the community that we have created, the Trivandrum city that we have created, is a product of our thinking. And if we want to change it, if we want to make Kerala the place to work from, we have to change our mindset, change our thinking. That is what all of us who are, the influencers and the current leaders. And the next one for the youngsters who are eagerly waiting to take up your first job or first startup or whatever, I would say this. The first one is about hard work. There's no alternate to it. So this is what I would say. A person who doesn't read does not have any advantage over a person who cannot read. If you understand what I meant. I think that's very important. Unless you apply anything and everything that we have, the processing speed that I have, the cognitive skills that I have is of no use. And I also make this promise to you, ladies and gentlemen, the youngsters, the future leaders. If you love what you do, and you have options, unlike my generation, we didn't have those choices. Now you can pick up the job that you are passionate about, the one which you would like to do. And in that context, if you love what you do, ladies and gentlemen, you will never work in your life. That is for the youngsters. And with that, I'm concluding. Thank you very much for inviting me for this session. I wish the school all the very best in creating to stay ahead and contributing to the educational side of our society, which is so important for any businesses to be here and also to get people to come to Kerala to work. And I wish all the best for the graduating Loyolites. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The Young Achiever Award is awarded yearly to Loyola Old Boys under the age of 40, showcasing proven potential in their respective fields. Speaking of potential, Sri Aravind Mani, part of the 2001 batch, is the co-founder and CEO of River. River is an electric vehicle startup building multi-utility electric scooters in Bangalore. Competing with the likes of Ola and Ather, River is set to deliver their flagship product, the River Indy, by August 2023. Prior to building River, Sri Aravind Mani was head of strategy and operations at Ultraviolet Automotive and head of commercials at Manali Petrochemicals Limited.
Hello all, I am Aravind. I am the 2003 ISC pass out from Loyola School Trivandrum. I am also the GLA 2023 Young Achiever Awardee. So I moved to Loyola from a very small school, and I was kind of astonished by the level of infrastructure, the quality of teachers, and the focus of all the fellow students out there. My favorite memories has been around mostly outside the classroom, about playing TT with classmates or the beef and parota that Joseph uncle used to make for lunch. There were many teachers who really did their part in kind of molding every other student in Loyola. But specifically, I do remember the English teacher Deepa Pillai. So the way she went about organizing Laugh Fest by bringing everyone together was just astonishing. She delegated the task so well. It was amazing the way she trusted a bunch of 17-year-olds with such a huge responsibility, and the way the 17-year-olds kind of delivered also. So this was amazing, and I actually kind of also makes you really think, right? It's really about the people that you work with that really makes a difference, and that has kind of stayed with me all along. As I told you, Loyola was my first big exposure into a larger world, because the level of focus that the students had at Loyola, I was seeing that for the first time. Like, everyone at the age of 16 knew that I'm going to crack an NDA, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be an engineer in this trade, I'm going to do MBA in this particular school. The focus of fellow Loyolites have always inspired. I think the moment you are a Loyolite, you already have the right base. It's about just understanding what you're good at and just keeping at it. And that's a tendency that I've also seen, that you may be good at many things. It's very important to understand what you're really good at and focus on that and take that path. That's pretty much about it. Waking up every single day and being at a particular task with the same level of energy without having the energy diminish even a bit, like keep chasing what you believe in. And that is easier said than done in my experience, because we see small successes in life and there is always a tendency to kind of get complacent, get easy with life, and to keep at it continuously even in your 30s and 40s is very difficult, and that is according to me the secret of my success so far. Right now I am the co-founder and CEO of River, an EV startup based out of Bangalore. We're building electric scooters with a strong focus on utility and lifestyle. But the larger purpose at River that we have is to help improve people's lives and livelihoods through mobility. So that is what we are focused on right now. So any award is a motivation to do better, but I think it comes with a much larger responsibility, primarily to actually keep delivering and raising to the expectations going forward. Young achiever is kind of a tricky thing, right? Because how many young child actors have you seen become really successful in life? So I strongly believe that there is also everyone also needs to peak at a right point in their career. So the Young Achiever Award is quite inspiring. However, to keep up the good work for the rest of the life is the responsibility that I believe it comes with.
When I talk about Aravind, the one thing that struck me the most about him was a sense of clarity that he had from very early on in wanting to do an impactful leadership role. And I guess with that in mind, he took deliberate, calculated risk at key points in his career to get there. While most of us would have been happy when cracking on-site opportunities at IT firms that we all joined right out of college, he left his on-site opportunity midway to join an international MBA program. He then took a non-traditional path to join an Indian firm in the petrochemical industry space, where he did roles in marketing, strategy, and deal making, and quite quickly rose up the ranks within that firm. At such an established point, most people would stick to their industry of choice, but he made a bold choice to change industries and enter this nascent EV space. There has been many instances in the last 2 years where I have been amazed by his discipline, his incredible work ethic, and his drive to make impossible things possible. These traits have helped him to lead and inspire an incredible team with a strong set of values. And I believe he's just getting started in a very long and rewarding journey. And I wish him and his team River all the success in the future.
I invite Father Principal P.T. Joseph S.J. to present the Young Achiever Award 2023 to the winner, Sri Aravind Mani. The Young Achiever Award consists of the globe and the citation, which reads thus:
In recognition of achievements attained in the quest for excellence by using his entrepreneurial skills to create a product from ground up, this congregation of alumni is privileged to bestow an honor of the highest merit to Sri Aravind Mani for inspiring generations of Loyolites as a venerated icon today and in the years to come.
Congratulations, Sri Aravind Mani. I request you to address the gathering.
Thank you, respected dignitaries on the dais and my fellow Loyolites, teachers. It's been a privilege. Thank you, LOBA, for giving me this award. And it's been It was great feeling to be back in school in the morning and address the assembly, and it continues now. Anyway, so today, when I asked one of the LOBA committee members, why would you give me this award, they told me it's because of it's a different path that I chose. So it was a different path. We were building an electric scooter from scratch. The development time was over 2 years. It took a ton of money. And we were building a hardware company in the middle of a pandemic. And in a funding environment that was not at all hardware friendly. Because India as a funding environment is quite good in terms of funding software apps. And it is a very established, mature funding environment, but not so much for hardware startups. And that was a time when we set out to build a hardware company. But in the last 2 years, we were able to achieve a lot of things. We brought in over $25 million as FDI into India. All our investors are foreign. We are the first and only investee company of 4 global funds across the world. We built a team of over 300 people, hardcore R&D people. We have a world-class R&D facility in Bangalore. We put up a factory for mass production. We launched a product in like 24 months, and we are on track to starting to sell the product in just over 2 years, which is kind of a record in this line of business. And it's still a very, very long way to go. But in these 2 years, whatever's happened, whatever I've seen in these 2 years, I want to talk about 2 main points here. One is the power of cold emails, and 2, the power of communities. Let me start with the power of cold emails. So, my partner, Vipin, and me were trying to raise funds for River in 2020. This was right in the middle of pandemic. And we had our resumes, we had a business plan. We were kind of writing cold emails to a lot of investors, to a lot of potential employees, to a lot of potential advisors. So I wrote an email one day to this gentleman called Dr. Venki Patmanabhan. He was the former CEO of Royal Enfield, and he is a veteran in the industry. He was sitting in Detroit. He was running around 7 plants for GM globally. And within a couple of hours, the person who runs 7 plants for GM globally responds to me, gives me half an hour to talk, where we actually went and pitched an idea of building electric scooters in India to him. And he has been associated with River ever since. He serves as an independent director on the board of River today, has been instrumental in giving confidence to a lot of investors, has been instrumental in helping us strategize manufacturing, setting up micro factories, and all started with a cold email that we wrote. We wrote another cold email to a Israel-based venture capital fund, people who sit in Tel Aviv, asking with a very ridiculous request. We asked for money to build electric scooters in India to an Israeli venture capital firm. And guess what? 3 conversations and a few months later, they wrote us a check of $1.5 million. And that also without seeing us in person even once, because it was COVID, we were not able to travel and all that. So, long story short, it took us over 12 months and over 200 rejections to land our first investment, which was $2 million, around 15 crores at that time. This was in March 2021, all thanks to cold emails. Now let me come to the second part of my story, which is the power of community. So now that we have money in the bank, we have raised capital, now it opens several doors. You're kind of an integral part of a community. So if you want to have a meeting with an investor, warm emails became possible. Like it was available easily. You were invited to cocktail parties which were exclusive, where you could actually meet the who's and who in the industry. I had shared a table with Tony Fadell, who is the founder of iPod, and pitched to him. He didn't give us the money, that's a different story. But getting to meet him was easier thanks to the access to a community. So River as a company and me as an entrepreneur
has been extremely lucky and lucky to be part of communities. And that's exactly what we have here with LOBA. The kind of community that we have here, which spans across decades, across age groups, across geographies, and how well knit the communities are, and the amount of effort that the Alumni Association puts into to hold this together is tremendous. I mean, meeting the global CEO of FedEx and sharing a dais with him at this stage is like only because of the community that we have today. So together, we can actually add a lot of value for the generations to come in terms of helping them. I mean, it already happens as part of the Loyola community. Like, you want an advice on a particular college, you have the right advice. You want advice in getting connected to a particular person, you want to forward your resume. The first term sheet that I got an advice free of cost from an investment banker classmate of mine. My legal advisor was free of cost because it was a classmate. So that is already part of the community, but if you are a little bit more organized, we can add a lot more value for the generations to come in terms of helping them prepare for a far better future. So let me just wind up today by saying this. So I'm standing here today because a few good souls took time out of their busy schedules and responded to a cold email that I wrote a few years back. And let me wind up with the promise that I will do everything in my power from now onwards to pass on the good karma. Thank you all.
Thank you, Aravind Cheta. I invite Father Roy Alex S.J., Principal, Loyola CBSE, to felicitate the awardee.
Chief guest of the day, V.K. Matthews, Rajesh Subramaniam sir, Sri Aravind Mani, Father P.T. Joseph, Ranjit and Sharath, teachers, LOBA members, and my dear students. It's with great pride and admiration that I stand before you today to recognize and celebrate the remarkable achievements of the award winners, Rajesh Subramaniam and Aravind Mani. Your dedication, hard work, and unwavering commitment to excellence have not gone unnoticed. During the farewell assembly of the 12th standard boys, we the teachers always tell them, success is not measured by the absence of challenges. Success is not measured by the absence of challenges, but by the way that you overcome the challenges. So today morning I was listening to Aravind Mani, and today, now also I just listened to him. So in Aravind Mani's case, he is the one who embraced the challenges and viewed them as an opportunity to grow and learn. So he could start a company within 2 years. That also during the pandemic time, when people remained locked at home, when most of the people thought about closing down their companies and firms, he was thinking about opening up something. So that's a unique style and innovation that Aravind Mani got. So I would like to congratulate you for taking a step to start something. So I understand this Young Achievers Award recognizes individuals who have demonstrated exceptional creativity, ingenuity, and innovation in their respective fields. Aravind has truly embodied these qualities with his innovative ideas, tireless efforts, and unwavering determination. So we know that this world is changing. So in a world that is constantly evolving, innovation is something very important. So innovation is crucial for progress and growth. And Aravind has shown us with passion and dedication and commitment, nothing is impossible, anything is possible. So you inspire and motivate our own generation to strive for excellence and to believe in the power of hard work. And I would like to congratulate LOBA to organize this event in a very successful manner. So it's always to be a pleasure to work with LOBA. During the time of pandemic, so you came out with a magical program called Explore, because maybe after 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock and so on, I used to see Father P.T. Joseph. He was having Zoom call with people from all over the world. And it was a huge success actually. And now you are helping us with the externship program. The other days, some boys from other schools, they asked me, what is this externship program? The Loyola boys, they were talking about the externship program. From the 11th standard and 12th standard, they are going to some of the companies and they are having some kind of experience with the engineers, doctors, and law companies and so on. So that's a kind of opportunity, expertism that you are sharing with our own boys. So I would like to congratulate LOBA for associating with the Loyola School. And once again, I congratulate Sri Rajesh Subramaniam and Aravind Mani and the team LOBA. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Father. I invite the President of LOBA, Sri Ranjit Ravindran, to kindly deliver the presidential address.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, teachers, members of non-teaching staff, and my dear friends, a very good evening to one and all of you. It's a pleasure to be back after a break of 3 years, and I felt very happy in the beginning when we started this. We're having a tough time, getting people into the room because after a big break, all are seeing each other, and that exactly is what we wanted with this function. This one opportunity where family, students, and teachers, our uncles, aunties, all of us get together and meet each other. So I think there itself, a program is like, it's a success for us. So I just wanted to use this opportunity quickly to talk about a few activities that LOBA has been doing over the years. And I think as we go along, you'll understand that some of the speakers here have made my job easy, and that again is a measure of what we have done. So our main focus, the two focus that we have, one is giving back to society, and the second is networking. And I guess Aravind has beautifully covered the networking part, which made my job easy. And on the welfare initiatives, again, there are two specific areas that we are looking at. One is education and another one is healthcare. So when I say education and healthcare, it's a financial support in terms of scholarship for education and for medical assistance when people are in need and they have a financial need, we do support them on a case-to-case basis. So these are two areas that we have. And with all the, given all the work that we have done in this area, this financial year, we got ourselves ATG certification. So all the contributions that you would be making towards the LOBA welfare initiatives, you would be getting the tax exemption for that. Continuing with what we did best at school, sports. In remembrance of that, we have an annual event back to school, and we conduct it on October 2nd, and we get really good participation for the same. And moving on to the networking. So I think the power of networking or the community, Aravind has already spoken about it. Now, how do we achieve it? And there are multiple ways of doing it. And one of them we thought is, we moved our earlier lobaglobal.com to a new platform, which is specializing on alumni networking. And I request all of the Loyalites here who have alumni who have not registered to register on it, and we want to make that as our platform for communication. Moving on, Link, the LOBA international network. So this is one where we have all our business networking, and it was started in 2017. And I'm proud to announce that the power of Link, we have today's event being fully supported by the Link members of the Link, and you have the logos on the screen. And that's something to be really proud of. Having started in 27 and our 5th edition, we are able to completely bank on our internal or our network. So again, the power of networking, be it for business or for any other needs that you have. Moving on, Explore. For Royal X has spoken about that, so I'll just leave it at that. Let's move on. Yeah, and the externship also. It's we are having it, planning to do it on an annual basis every summer. So the pilot is over, and we had INAP and Abhilash's company both supporting us for Terrific Minds, both of us supporting us for the pilot. And we have planned for this summer to start this summer with the next step of the externship program, and it will be done on an annual basis. And we have a lot of students who have signed up for that, and thank you for all the support given again by our fellow Loyalites. And moving on to Diamond Jubilee celebration or Diamond Jubilee initiatives. So LOBA collaborated closely with the school, and the MiG-27, I think whoever has gone to school recently, I think needs no explanation. And we are proud to say that lot of our fellow alumni members have flown on this. So it's again a matter of pride. And we curated a coffee table book with a 60-year history. And we set up a 11-member editorial board with the help of principal and the school management. We are able to bring that out. And a few copies actually are left. It's out there in our merchandise counter next to the reception. So you can, it's available there to buy. And all the proceeds from that goes again to our welfare initiatives. Moving on, the new CBSE block at school, there's a Diamond Jubilee building. And we collaborated with school, and 8 batches have dedicated classrooms in memory of their loved ones and parents, classmates, batchmates. And actually the dedication ceremony is happening this month for each of the classrooms. The work is over, and the dedication ceremony is happening this month. So again, thanks to principal for giving us that opportunity. The 1982 batch and school collaborated on building a cricket pitch in memory of B. Srinivas. So that again was inaugurated in school. And so if you would like to use a pitch at off-school hours, we can get the permission principal and always use a cricket pitch. Now, so that we spoke about what we did over the last few years. And now, way forward, again, not to say, we need to strengthen our networking and community to reap the benefits we just spoke about, and also strengthen link. So I don't have to stress again on the importance of link. And we need to focus also more on providing support for education and healthcare. So there's something really happy or something beautiful I wanted to just share. So just before this meeting started, which is relevant here, I was handed over a small note by Matthew Joshua of 1977 batch, fondly called as Boss batch, boys of 77. And the note said, I'll just read it out as is. IBS Software is aware and fully appreciative of the commitment of LOBA towards the community it is embedded with. As a token of our support for the welfare activities initiated by the alumni of Loyola School, we wish to make a humble contribution of rupees 10 lakhs to LOBA. Unquote. My sincere thank you to you, Mr. V.K. Matthews and Matthew Joshua. Thank you. And this will surely help us go a long way in the LW activities that they are taking up. Thank you again. And see, this day would not have been possible, and also all the activities that we spoke about, without the wholehearted support and passion that beyond the 15-member ExCom, we call it, our executive committee, there's a large extended team who spend days and nights out, beyond their day-to-day normal work. So I thank all of them, and I would like to call out, mention a few a special mention for a few people. One is Anil Parameswaran, a batch of 1984, for supporting us with with our audits, regular audits, and keeping us on our track and ensuring we get the played a big part in ensuring, Anil and his team played a big part in ensuring we get our ATG certification. Thank you. Next, Wing Commander Ranjan Gandhi. I don't think anybody needs much introduction there. So we've been kept on, I would say, at gunpoint all the time, and he has been instrumental spearheading almost all the initiatives that were part of the Diamond Jubilee initiatives, celebrations. And Dr. Suresh K. Aravind was instrumental in our Explore and the externship programs. And Pradeep Kumar Madhavan of 1974 batch, Pradeep Chetan, for his contributions for the Jesuit Alumni Association. He represents South Asia in the World Union for Jesuit Association, WUJA. We are proud of you, Cheta. With that, I would wind up, and congratulations, winners, and thank you again, sir, for your contribution. Thank you.
Thank you, Ranjit. I invite Sri B.O. Sebastian, former teacher at Loyola School Trivandrum, to introduce the Global Leadership Award winner.
Dear luminaries or dignitaries on and off the stage, I'm afraid when the teacher comes to speak, especially Rajesh classmates, hope they are not going to sleep. This is a solemn occasion when you find what I found was so many people have spoken We started teaching when there were no software or hardware. And then my students are here. Dear Loyolites, it's a privilege and I am happy to address this gathering of Loyolites when our students, global winner, and also who is the other one, Rajesh and Aravind, young achiever, are honored. It's a great celebration. We should be happy and feel proud of this gathering. Many of you sit very, very seriously. We should smile. And then, of course, all your ovations mean that you are happy about that. Rajesh and Aravind, my congratulations to you. I am meeting Rajesh after 42 years. It's a long, short time. I will mean it. You must be familiar with the Onida TV advertisement. Honor's pride and neighbor's envy. Dear awardees, you are honor's pride. When I say honor's pride, there is a big line of honest. Your parents, your grandparents, your family, kith and kins, neighbors, your classmates, schoolmates, Loyolites, what I mean. And the whole country is proud of you. And for me too, it's a matter of great pride. Joyful parents, successful children. I appreciate the parents of both the awardees because the love, the care, the concern, the self-confidence and self-esteem that they have instilled in them made them what they are. Hats off to the parents of these two great Loyolites. I would love to add joyful teachers and the staff, non-teaching staff, and Loyola School, successful students. Here, Loyola has been and will be a happy place where children grow not only in size, not even in knowledge, but in curiosity, courage, confidence, competence, resourcefulness, resilience, patience, and understanding. Only in Loyola, teaching and learning takes place without fear and tears. I have great respect and appreciation to Father C.P. Workey, who transformed the school to be a teacher and student-friendly one. Hats off to the Loyola Jesuit priests and the staff for this affectionate, friendly community. I love to congratulate Rajesh and Aravind, but all who passed out of the portals of Loyola, and have made their lives successful. I thank the staff of Loyola and the nodding staff who have held their hands from KG onwards, opened their minds and intellects, and inspired them and touched their hearts. My compliments to all of you, dear teachers. Rajesh is an unassuming personality then and also now, who always kept a low profile, silent yet studious, quiet but inquisitive. I appreciate you, at least now, in the school days, which I was not able to tell you, dear Rajesh. One of his classmates, others are sitting here looking at me, messaged me about Rajesh. I'll read that. I was on my toes since Raj was number one, and I was in the pits when it came to academies. So I used to hear me being compared to him all the time when growing up. He was omnipresent in my household all through my school days. He was, however, a nice guy, loved by students and teachers alike, just like he is now. He grew up against villains that are here as the nicest and lovable and loving person ever. He loved cricket. Am I right? I know. I am reminded about H.W. Longfellow words. The heights that great men reached and kept were not attained by sudden flight. I don't say, next sentence is not for you. While their companions slept, were toiling upward in the night. Dear awardees, Loyalites, walk tall like the trees, pine trees. Live long like the mountains. Be gentle as the spring winds. Keep the warmth of the summer sun in your hearts, and the Great Spirit will always be with you. Thank you for the privilege given to me, dear LOBA, and God bless you. 1981 and the years that followed, we sang a song, farewell song. God be with you till we meet again. By his counsels guide uphold you, with his sheep securely hold you. God be with you till we meet again. And some of you wept at that time. Okay, bye-bye, all the best, thank you.
Thank you very much, B.O. Sebastian, sir.
Looking back at those formative years, what would come foremost in my mind about Rajesh was his soft-spoken nature, always calm, and his humility, so humble. I guess these virtues, along with his incredible brains and vision, was a sure equation for success. Lots of fond memories with Rajesh. We were also neighbors, so in the evening we would end up playing badminton or cricket together. And we were doubles partners representing Apollo Pioneers in our 10th standard inter-house games.
What I found most wonderful about you is that you are a good human being, you are a very grounded person, and you've never let success go to your head. And obviously you're a wonderful tribute to all backbenchers. We used to sit in the backbenches. I hope you remember that. I wish you all the very best for the future, my friend.
From the humble hillocks of Loyola School to the pinnacles of the corporate world, very proud of you. I should say I'm deeply honored to have shared with you the benches, the play fields, the school assemblies, those fun youth festivals, those SCPWs which we all hated, those hilarious nicknames that we have had for each other, all of which have gone on to shape who we are.
All of us from the batch of 1981 would like to congratulate Rajesh on this proud occasion of winning the GLA award. Rajesh is a source of inspiration for all young people, all Loyolites, surely. And to us, he is like the Rahul Dravid of the corporate world.
Dear Rajesh, congratulations. You have made us proud. In 2022, when we had the get-together in Memphis, I realized you have not changed one bit over the last 5 decades since we first met in Loyola. Unassuming, always cheerful, brilliant and sharp as a tack. You are the perfect combination of IQ and EQ.
The day after we finished our 10th ICSE exams, a bunch of us decided to go to Kovalam by cycle and spend the day there. So we swung by Rajesh's house to pick him up. And Rajesh took his own sweet time coming out. And when he did, we asked him, "Hey buddy, why did you take so long?" And he looked at us and said, "I was doing physics problems." So we are completely zapped and asked him, "Why the hell are you doing physics problems when the exams are over?" He said, "Because he was feeling bored." Amazing. And there's no wonder why Rajesh has achieved what he has achieved. And friends, he's not a one-trick pony. He is also a very good cricketer. He was in fact the sole spinner in our all-conquering cricket team.
I just want to recount a story. This is probably when we were in 7th or 8th standard in school during the summer holidays, and Anish and I had dropped by a house. We were on our way to the badminton court near your house where we used to play cricket. And we asked you what you were doing. This is around 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and you said you were doing complex algebra in order to relax. And you'd gone back in, and Anish and I looked at each other and we said, "This guy is going to go far." So we were right. So all the best. Carry on doing all the fantastic stuff they're doing.
Raj Subramaniam, as the world knows him today, and Patarji, as we used to know him, he was one of the amongst the top few in academics in our class, and was an avid cricketer. I would say he was a bit a shy person in those days, but then like all of us at Loyola, we got the chance for us to develop holistically in an all-round development, whether it was academics, whether it was games, whether it was arts, and probably it is that character building which took place in those early years which has taken him to these heights.
I remember you as quite a modest person going on and on with your whatever you did, and very clever one in that as well. And very, very congratulations again, and wish you the very best. And hopefully you will continue to get more and more accolades of this nature. All the best.
I invite the chief guest, Sri V.K. Matthews, to award the LOBA Global Leadership Award 2023 to the winner, Sri Rajesh Subramaniam. The Global Leadership Award consists of the globe and the citation which reads thus.
In recognition of achievements attained in the quest for excellence, by setting leadership standards of the highest order and achieving the pinnacle of success in the corporate world, this congregation of alumni is privileged to bestow an honor of the highest merit to Sri Rajesh Subramaniam for inspiring generations of Loyalites as a venerated icon today and in the years to come.
Congratulations, Rajesh, for this great achievement. I am sure everyone present here is keenly waiting to hear you speak. May I request you to kindly address the gathering.
Thank you very much for that. Respected principals, thank you very much for the hospitality at school today. Our chief guest, Mr. Matthews, I appreciate your cutting your journey short in Las Vegas and coming over to see me is indeed a great honor. And a lot of the things that you spoke about today, I think I have a merging of views with what you talked about. Ranjit, Sharat, you guys are just amazing to put this together, a labor of love. Thank you for organizing it. I know it's not easy. And my fellow winner, Aravind, man, you're a superstar. Well, I want to take this opportunity also to thank the teachers that are here in the audience today. They have influenced me throughout my life, and one in particular, Mr. B.O. Sebastian, thank you very much. I'm humbled by your presence here today. Thank you so much. And of course, my life in Loyola would not have been anything without my friends, and I'm just amazed at the number of people who have flown in from all over the world to be here today. So again, thank you very much, guys. It's fantastic. It was great to be on campus today. There was no question about that. I think it's the first time in many years I've been back to Loyola, and of course it did not disappoint. To be honest, when the students sang the Cheer Loyola Sons with the gusto, that was really nostalgic, and it really threw a flutter in my heart when that happened. The questions from the students. Honestly, I went through a similar school 3-4 weeks ago in US, and there were students who were asking questions. First of all, they looked like they had just woken up from bed, and they all had like these written questions which I think they were forced to read. Not so today. They were lined up and they were just on fire. Principal, you're doing something good. You're really doing something good. There was this, you look at the eyes, you can see the sparkle, and it was just spectacular. And of course, it was brilliant to see my friends in the meeting as well. I left Trivandrum 42 years ago, right after school, and today I find myself leading this company called FedEx. Our chief guest already spoke a little bit about it, so let me kind of put some color to it. We are about $94 billion. We are in 220 countries. We have about 550,000 people, about 700 planes, 200,000 vehicles, and 5,000 facilities. It's a massive thing that this organization is now about. It also had its humble beginnings. Started up in 1973. In fact, we're going to celebrate our 50th anniversary next month. The one other part of it that now I have to mention it since you mentioned it earlier, the digital assets of FedEx are also now equally powerful. We always had a digital DNA that was the undercurrent of the physical footprint that I just talked about. If I would, both Arvind's presentation about hardware and your conversation about the digital economy, I would just add the fact that there's also now the intersection of the physical and the digital, and I'm about to reinvent FedEx as 2.0 moving from a product to solutions to a platform with digital underpinning. So that's, it feeds right into what you were talking about earlier. Now, I'm not here to talk too much about FedEx. I just want to really talk about what Loyola in particular has contributed for me as I progress through my journey in life. There are several things that I have drawn from here that has kept me going. I think, let me start with the core things. There was such emphasis on integrity, honesty, ethics. In Loyola, it just kind of imbibed in you as you went through the school. It's not like something you were taught or something, but it's just part of the atmosphere almost. And when in business, when things go really bad, you're not looking for a manual or a playbook. There is no such thing. At that point, you're going back to your core beliefs. And those core beliefs are founded, I agree, I would think, when you're in the formative stages of life. And those core values of high integrity, high ethics, honesty, those were foundations for everything that all of us who have been through the Loyola system have taken away. The second thing I would say is a sense of purpose. After all, every business is got a sense of purpose about what they're about. I'm actually, I was impressed, Aravind, that you were talking about, you're just starting up and you're already talking about the purpose. I mean, it's amazing. Our purpose is to connect people and possibilities around the world. And also, I find myself that when things are not working or something goes wrong or disasters happen, we are usually the ones running to help. It's akin to something like this. Your neighbor's house is on fire and you're the one with the fire hose and you run to help. Let me tell you what I mean by that. I'll give you an example which relates completely to India. In April of 2021, when COVID, I think the Delta wave was raging India, and it was like it went all of a sudden. And I remember that first weekend on a Saturday, I'm sitting at home, I'm thinking, I got to do something here. So I called a few of my now Indian origin CEOs in America, and everyone was basically thinking the same thing. Within 24 hours, on that Sunday afternoon at 11 o'clock, we had a Zoom call, and there were 60 of the top 100 CEOs on the planet on that call. It was unbelievable how so many people came together on the one call for the cause of India. I've never seen anything like that in my life. All of us made a few phone calls, and the next thing you knew, it was all together. And the very next day, the same group now included also the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken. It was an amazing pull together of a mobilization of effort. And then also the Indian government was, there. And so we asked the question, what do you want? Well, it was oxygen, oxygen, and oxygen. So, well, we don't know anything about it. So then everybody started pulling together, money and where's the oxygen, this, that, and the other thing. And sure enough, the money started to flow and they identified sources and everything else. The next immediate question was, how in the world are we going to get it to India? Then I looked around and I was like, hey, that's me. And, we have 40 flights a week in and out of India every single day and connect the world to and from India. So we started flowing these oxygen concentrators in and out, and we were just doing it, on a regular basis. And literally that Friday evening, I'm sitting at home about 10 o'clock at night, I get a phone call from a stranger. I don't know why I picked the phone. I picked it up. It was this lady. She was in Dallas. And she said, my father is dying. You don't know me. My name is so-and-so. My father is dying. I have an oxygen concentrator in my hand. Can I bring it to you? Can you take it there? And I was like, well, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with that. But within about 12 hours, we set up a process where we have 2,000 retail outfits all over the country that they could bring it there and everything else would be taken care of from that point. And that we've got about 750 of those. So we moved more than 100,000 oxygen concentrators in that time period. So that's what I mean. That's what I mean by the sense of purpose that's in ability to support. And I was really, really humbled, and please don't think I'm being immodest here. I was really humbled this year when I got a call from the Indian government, and they recognized the efforts that FedEx did by awarding me the Parvasi Bharat Samman Award for the NRI award this year. The other thing that is core in the Loyola spirit is respect. Respect for others. And, fancy words like diversity and equity and inclusion these days. But at the end of the day, when you grow up with an environment where you are open to everything, and ultimately it's about diversity of thought. And that foundation, if it's not created correctly, you already have these unconscious biases. And then you're dealing with different things. I don't know, I'm sure my friends would agree with me, we had no bias. We treated everyone with equality and fairness. And so this idea of DEI and all those things that people talk about today is very natural to all of us. So I think that's been a big area of core that's been helpful to me. The other part of that is also the word adaptability is important here as well, because I found myself throughout my career I've traveled the world constantly, and I've also lived and worked in different parts of the world. To be able to put yourself in the other person's shoes and look at it from the other side, the empathy. I know I traveled the world with my colleagues, from the US, go to different parts of the world. And we do all these, meet people and make assessments. And when we come back and talk about it, I find that my perspective is usually somewhat slightly or maybe significantly different from the others. And I've noticed it over and over again. I was thinking, what am I missing? Then I realized I'm not missing anything. They are the ones who are missing it. And I think it's the foundation of the way you think about things and how you're really putting yourself in the other person's shoes and looking backwards and seeing. And those perspectives have become very important for us as we make personal business decisions. Another element that's I think it's important that I've learned from Loyola is the notion of teamwork. We spoke about cricket. Anish was our fearless leader and one of the greatest cricket teams I think we have ever produced in Loyola, if I may say so. I think we did not lose a match since 8th grade or something like that. It was an unbelievable accomplishment. The teamwork and the team spirit that we had was really very, very good. And I think that is, in an environment like FedEx, that's very important. 550,000 folks. I tell you what, I'll tell you a story. When I first, I was in the functional role. I was this, chief marketing officer in Asia Pacific, and so that's one set of things. And I got promoted to this role where I was the president of a region where now I'm responsible for 5,000 blue-collar workers. So I showed up in Canada, and they're looking at me like, he's not Canadian, he's not American, who the hell is he? And here I'm supposed to lead these people. And I was trying to build a rapport. It was, it was difficult. Then, purely by chance, an opportunity came my way to do a reality TV show with the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, and I jumped at it. It was an opportunity for me to. So reality TV means that you're on TV. The camera is on you from morning till night, starting at 5 o'clock in the morning when they came to my house, and I switched roles with frontline workers for a whole week, again on reality TV. They were looking for. They had 40 hours of footage. They were looking for about 20 minutes, and they were looking for 20 minutes where I completely screw up so they can make fun of me. Well, I gave them enough material that they had to do 2 shows. And it was a big hit because it was kind of a fun show. But at the end of the day, after that, when I walk into a station, which I did constantly, our couriers would be, "Hey man, you want to do my job now?" And it was like the ice broke. The rapport was good, and it was a great relationship that I had with a lot of the folks. So it's the whole notion of teamwork and making sure we are in the physical world. We got to work with a lot of people, and people are very, very important. By the way, on hardware, you're going to need that big time. The other part is the servant leadership. It's a very important thing that I learned in Loyola School. What is the role of the leader? Is to support the team, not to really direct them what to do. And the pyramid is really inverted. The leader is the bottom of it. And the last thing I would say on that is, of course, the core of education and the foundational skill sets. You all made fun of me about math and physics and so on. Part of it is surely made up because I don't recollect any of it. But nonetheless, the skill sets that B.O. Sebastian sir and others, and in particular I mentioned one of the name, Mr. Pillai in mathematics, was so important to me as I moved through, whether it is going to IIT or then moving on to further school and of course through my work. I mean, that's of course what it's all about. So these are some of the key value systems from the Loyola spirit, the Loyola system, the Loyola school, the friends, everything else that have helped me as I move forward. So as I look ahead, I'm really grateful for the opportunity that I have today, and I'll continue to put in the best effort I possibly can, and of course, pay it forward. And this is important that all of us, I think, take the opportunity to be grateful for the things that's happening to us and make sure that we are able to give it to others and experiences more than anything else so that others can benefit from that. And continue to champion. I know I told this in the morning as well. When I talked to a lot of my friends, they absolutely, 90% of them hated their school. I was shocked because I loved my school. And I was wondering, what is it that's different? But I've still not figured it out. But whatever we have in this secret sauce of Loyola here, the all-round education, everything else, we need to continue to champion that because I think every child needs that love for that school and education that we all had. So, I want to conclude by saying thank you. This is indeed an amazing honor. I've been fortunate enough to be awarded this, that, and the other thing, but coming back to the roots, coming back to school, and being here, especially with my friends today, there's nothing to beat it. And I would say that my journey from a school kid in Loyola to FedEx is clearly built on foundation of value systems built by Loyola. Thank you very much. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Rajesh. Let us take a moment to thank our main sponsors for today's event.
We started with a handful of customers investing more than their money, their confidence with us. That handful has now grown into a vast population of satisfied customers. Now, we are celebrating 3 decades of customer confidence. All we can say is a big thank you. Your preferred wealth partner, cap stocks, equities, commodities, currency.
നല്ലത് കാണൂ നന്നായി കാണൂ നല്ലത് കാണൂ നന്നായി കാണൂ
I call upon Sri Srinivas Chidambaram, batch of 1981, to felicitate the GLA winner.
Dear dignitaries on the dais, teachers, and my dear friends, it's indeed an honor for the batch of 1981 that our schoolmate, who we have known probably for 50 plus years, has been awarded with the GLA award. So it's a matter of great pride and honor for all of us. And we would like to felicitate you and wish you even greater success as you go along. When I think about Rajesh, there are a few aspects that come to mind. He's very differentiated from any Indian or American CEO that I've met. He represents old-fashioned values, for lack of a clearer term. He's worked with one company all his life. He's a quintessential family man. He always remembers his friends, always has time for his friends and his network. And above all, the aspects that I think young Loyalites can learn from him is that he, as he explained earlier today at school, he is a constant learner. He learns from other people. He tries to get out of the way when he does not have to take all decisions. And above all, he's a responsible and humane leader. So with those words, once again, Rajesh, congratulations. And in conclusion, one phrase comes to mind from Shakespeare. Our principal then, who taught us, Julius Caesar, Father Varkey, used to burn into our brain this phrase, as constant as the northern star. So you've been as constant as the northern star in leading with your values, and I wish you every success and greater joy as you go along. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheta. I invite Sri Sharat Krishnan, Secretary LOBA, to propose the vote of thanks.
Okay, eminent guests, illustrious winners, and dear friends, a very good evening to all. First of all, I want to thank our chief guest, Mr. V.K. Matthews, for finding time and for coming down to enlighten and inspire us all. Thank you, sir. And thank you, our brother awardees and role models, Sri Rajesh Subramaniam and Sri Aravind Mani, for accepting our award and participating in this function. And we are indebted to and thankful to our jury members, Dr. Ravi Kumar and Mr. S.M. Vijayanand, retired IAS, for deliberating over the contestants and selecting the most eligible persons. And a special thanks to the school, its principals, Reverend Father P.T. Joseph, Reverend Father Roy Alex of CBSE School, Reverend Father Sunny Kundapal, who couldn't be with us due to illness. Big thank you to all. And a special mention about Father P.T. Joseph, who is leaving his role as principal of our school and moving on to newer pastures. During his period as principal of our school, he has been energetic, enigmatic, and yet pragmatic in his approach. And Father, it has been a real honor and pleasure to work along with you, and thank you, big thank you. Our sincere thanks goes out to the guests from other Jesuit institutions, PTA members, invited luminaries and family members. Now to thank those who especially made this particular edition of GLA a special one. Our sponsors, all of them who are either owner or founders of those institutions, and who are also part of our wider networking and business fraternity, aptly named Link. Big thank you to all. Our thanks goes out to the event management team, Infinity, who were being ably coordinated by another of our alumnus, Jobby Jacob of 93 batch. Thank you, Jeta. And thanks to the DJ of the night, the caterers, Sri Mulan Club management for lending its premises, and other facilitators. Thank you. And thank you to all my seniors and juniors who made this a memorable evening, just like how we used to celebrate our joy and achievements. Thank you to our teachers, retired and serving, and to our dear non-teaching staff, our uncles and aunties, again both serving and retired. Our sincere thanks to all of you who have been an integral part in making us who we are. Thank you. And coming to our team, over the past year, Arjun Shanavas has been our LOBA coordinator, and his role has, nothing short of exceptional. So big thank you to him. And, to other members of the ExCom team, they have been brilliant as well. They have spent night and day, working towards making this function a grand success. So a big pat on your backs, guys. So a big thank you to all as well. And the dedicated group of batch ambassadors who have been working tirelessly to make this an amazing function. So a big thank you to all the ExCom members and batch ambassadors. Thank you. And that's it. Thank you. Cheer Loyola Sense and Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharat Cheta. With this, we come to the end of the award function. All rise for the national anthem.
Janagana Mana Adhinayaka Jaya He Bharata Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravida Utkala Vanga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Uchchala Jaladhi Taranga Tava Shubha Name Jage तव शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाहे तव जय गाथा। जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे, जय 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 हे।
Thank you, everyone. Please join us for dinner and have a great evening.
בפני מי תעמדי, הכל ידוע מראש. נגן תמיד, נגן פריד, יאללה. נגן, נגן, נגן. but what you talking about? Talking about, talking, 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 but what you talking about? Talking, talking, I see your lips moving, but what you talking about? Talking, 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 but what you talking about? Talking, talking, I see your lips moving, but what you talking about?
The attack is psychological and powerful. The attack is psychological and powerful.